because our state is once again the center of America's heartbreak. And it means so much, Congresswoman Jayapal and Omar, that you've brought this together, that we have people from all over the country to stand with us. And I want to thank our incredible leaders, the two mayors, as well as Attorney General Ellison, who's been at the forefront of these legal fights. ICE needs to get off our streets. They are causing confusion, chaos, and fear. They are literally chasing DoorDash delivery people into private homes where there are children. They are chasing down legal citizens in parking lots and wrestling them down, as the Congresswoman just noted, in front of Menards and in Targets. But instead of de-escalating the situation, the administration has doubled down. People are saying, look at my passport, look at my passport. Legal workers at our airport, Native Americans are being targeted on the way to their jobs. I recently met with principals in city and suburban schools in Minnesota, and they told me the horror stories of little kids scared, teachers being wrestled down in front of them in their school parking lot, graduates being stopped. And now the administration has chosen to send even more ICE officers, to the point now where there are nearly 3,000 of them, which is significantly more than the 1,100 sworn officers in Minneapolis and St. Paul combined, and equal to these sworn officers in 10 metropolitan police departments. This is completely, as the mayors know, out of balance, and it is chaos. We are telling our people who are so offended for their neighbors and are standing up, not just in organized protests, but are just standing up when they see it happen in stores, we are telling them to be peaceful and not to take the bait from the threats coming out of the White House, because in the end, these people would not be here from all over the country if they didn't believe that democracy will prevail, that the rule of law will prevail. But this is who we are in Minnesota. We are the people that slide down icy hills to get to a protest. We are the people that quietly and loudly come together to help our neighbors. We are the people, in the words of Renee Good's wife, Becca, lost the love of her life, a mom of 3, who said that we must reject hate and embrace compassion. So that is what I hope our representatives will pick up from their time in Minnesota and from our incredible witnesses today, that we're standing together, regardless, Democrats, Republicans, even though some people are louder than another. People know that this invasion is not what our state is about, and we're going to stand up. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Now recognize Senator Tina Smith for 2 minutes for an opening statement.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you all so much for being here. I want to add my thanks to members of Congress who have made this trip to Minnesota to stand in solidarity with all of us, and also to the incredible local leaders, with my fellow members of the Minnesota congressional delegation, local leaders, the mayors here today, many state legislators that are in the audience. And particularly, I want to thank the activists and organizers and community leaders that are in the audience, who are doing the work of keeping our communities as safe as we can. So, President Trump's illegal deportation campaign is leaving Minnesotans and Americans detained, arrested, injured, and killed, all the while trampling on our basic civil rights and due process. It is making us all less safe, it is dangerous, and it must stop. Renee Good, a United States citizen, a wife and a mother, was shot and killed by federal agents in broad daylight in the middle of a Minneapolis street. The federal government, within hours, labeled her as a domestic terrorist before they even knew her name, and are clearly attempting to cover up what happened. And in Minnesota today, people are literally calling 911 because they need protection from federal agents that are threatening their safety and their security. ICE agents are blatantly profiling Black, and brown and Asian people and Native Americans. And this is happening not just in Minneapolis and St. Paul, but in suburbs and small towns and communities all over Minnesota. Now, many of these agents are clearly poorly trained, which puts us all in danger, but they are also hostile and emboldened because they have been told, starting with the vice president, that they have 100% immunity. And as a result, people are getting hurt and even killed. And of course, just yesterday, the president literally threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, which amounts to declaring war on the state of Minnesota. I am so grateful to all of you here today who are going to help us tell this story, not only to Minnesota, but to the country, because we know that most Americans do not support this blatant illegal activity. And the more they hear about what is happening, the more they will add their voices to the powerful resistance that we are seeing here in Minnesota, and that is the way that we will win this important fight. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Senator Smith. We are fortunate to be joined with two members of our House Democratic leadership. Ted Lieu, the Vice Chair of the House Democratic Caucus, is here, and I now recognize House Democratic Caucus Whip Catherine Clark for an opening statement for 2 minutes.
So pleased to be here. Thank you, Congresswoman Jayapal, for bringing us together today. And thank you to Congresswoman Omar and McCollum for hosting us in the Twin Cities. To Mayor Frey, to Mayor Herr, and to Attorney General Ellison, and all of the witnesses, thank you for taking the time to be here while your community and state is under siege and weighed down by injustice. The sheer number of colleagues that we have in attendance underscores how deeply the pain of Minnesota is felt across the entire country. And it reflects what the American people understand about this moment, that if this terror can be ordered on the people of Minnesota, it can be directed on any of us. If the sovereignty of this state, its local police and prosecutors can be threatened by the untrained recruits that Kristi Noem has fashioned into a mass paramilitary force, then none of us have true security. And if the shooting of Renee Good can be deemed justified without investigation, then we know all of our freedom is threatened. I want to thank the people of Minnesota for their resolve and grit, for their courage, and for turning towards each other in love instead of turning away in fear. You are setting a model for how we respond with strength and community. And to our witnesses, we thank you for speaking out and sharing your stories. Your courage inspires us, and we will be taking your voices to all of our work that lies ahead in these perilous days. Thank you again, Congresswoman, for pulling us together and for being here. I am so grateful to be part of this important and urgent discussion, and I yield back.
Thank you so much, Whip Clark. For those of you who are looking to use Wi-Fi, you can use Ledge Public Wi-Fi, and there's no password. It is now my pleasure to introduce today's witnesses for our first panel. Keith Ellison was sworn in as Minnesota's 30th Attorney General on January 7th, 2019. As the people's lawyer, Attorney General Ellison's job is to help Minnesotans afford their lives and live with dignity, safety, and respect. From 2007 to 2019, Attorney General Ellison represented Minnesota's 5th congressional district in the United States House of Representatives and served as a dear friend and colleague for many of us on this dais. Prior to Congress, Attorney General Ellison served 4 years in the Minnesota House of Representatives, as well as spending 16 years as an attorney specializing in civil rights and defense law. He received his law degree from the University of Minnesota Law School in 1990 and is the proud father of 4 adult children. Jacob Fry has served as mayor of Minneapolis since 2018, being re-elected twice in 2021 and 2025. A member of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party, he served on the Minneapolis City Council representing Ward 3 from 2014 to 2018. Prior to entering elected office, Mayor Fry worked as an employment and civil rights attorney and became an active community organizer. He also became involved in advocacy for those experiencing homelessness, helping tenants who lost their homes in North Minneapolis. Mayor Fry received his undergraduate degree from William & Mary and law degree from Villanova University. Kali Her was sworn in as the 56th mayor of St. Paul earlier this year. She is the first woman, the first Asian American, and the first Hmong American to hold this position. Prior to being elected mayor, she served in the Minnesota House of Representatives from 2019 to 2025. Mayor Her was born in the mountains of Laos and came to the United States as a refugee at the age of 3. A strong work ethic, her family's tenacity, and support from her community propelled Mayor Her to the highest levels of our state government and now to City Hall, where she brings her years of lived experience across different sectors to help move St. Paul forward. I thank you all for your leadership in these incredibly difficult times and for being here today. We ask that you summarize your testimony in 4 minutes